New Rock 99X, Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy, one of the most intense producers of our time, Mr. Jerry Bruckheimer. If you just gloss over this man's resume, Enemy of the State, Armageddon, The Rock, American Gigolo, Flashdance, Top Gun, Crimson Tide, Bad Boys, the list goes on and on. One of the best movie makers of our time. Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Bruckheimer.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning.
Jerry, you've
or this afternoon, whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's morning. It's early.
Yeah.
You're so associated with action pictures and stuff. Is that because when you were growing up, you were such a big fan of those kind of movies and wanted to do them, or did you just happen to kind of fall into that genre?
It's a little bit of both. I loved The Great Escape. I dated myself with Steve McQueen, and I loved the David Lean pictures, Lawrence of Arabia and Bridge on the River Kwai. I grew up on those, and I love watching them, and that's why I make, hopefully, pictures as good as those.
I thought you just grew up with cars flipping over, money flying in the air, and things exploding.
Well, that's what's come of me. That's what's happened to me.
It was a real change.
I'm not sure it's a good thing.
Yeah, it kind of took a lot of people by surprise when you heard Jerry Bruckheimer was doing a movie called Remember the Titans. Low budget, no explosives, things aren't blowing up, people aren't flying all over the place except for people tackling people. But an incredible movie that has just captured a lot of people's hearts already. I mean, just the people that have seen it in the last week, nothing but rave reviews. And on a movie that was a very small budget and a pretty intense script.
No, you're absolutely right, and we were very fortunate to spend time in Atlanta. That's where the picture was filmed. So whoever sees it was listening will notice some similarities to the movie to where they live. But you know what? It's a picture that's a triumph of the heart, triumph of the spirit. Those are pictures I love to do, of characters who overcome great difficulties to bring people together and brotherhood amongst men, which is this movie really encompasses all that. Yet it's romantic and it's funny and it's about heroes, real heroes who change the way we think.
As a producer of your stature, I've got to believe that one of the daily things you go through is actors trying to get you their resume, their picture. Is that a daily occurrence? I mean, do you go to? We definitely
get pictures every day from actors.
I mean, when you go to,
and, we have great casting directors who work with us, and they all get sent to them, and they get interviewed if the casting director feels they have the right kind of resume.
Well,
so some of them do get in the door.
I'm kind of talking about like when you go to a restaurant. I'm sure the waiter will. I'm sure there've been waiters that have not been above slipping a resume under your plate, or a hotel clerk sliding something under your door. Things like that.
That definitely happens, but only in California, only in Los Angeles or in Hollywood. It doesn't happen in the rest of the country, which is fortunate for me because, actors, you recognize them right away. Producers, you usually don't know. So
right.
I'm kind of lucky that my face hasn't been pasted all over the country. Otherwise, it'd be a lot worse.
Has there ever been one that slipped you something that you went, you know what, this person's got this look that I'm looking for?
It's definitely happened. In fact, we've hired people off the street that had never acted before and had no ambitions to act, just had the right look and the right feel. That happens quite often.
Anybody worth noting?
Nobody that's really, gotten to the top or somebody you would know, but a lot of small parts.
You've worked with so many actors, great actors of our generation. Was there one that brought really more to the table in their role than you even expected?
You know what? It's real interesting because the really good ones do it all the time. Denzel Washington worked so hard on our script with us and with the director to make the picture as good as it came out. Tom Cruise does the same thing. Eddie Murphy, when he did Beverly Hills Cop, he made up a lot of those lines. He does wonderful stuff. Nick Cage, another one who works really hard and every day comes up with new ideas. Same thing with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. The reason they're so successful and they're such big stars is because they got enormous talent, not only in front of the camera, but they got great heads for story, character, and themes.
How much time did you actually spend in Atlanta, and any fond memories?
I loved my time in Atlanta. I was there, I'd say, every other week when they were filming. I was there for a few days. It's a beautiful city. It got a little chilly towards the end. It got a little cold. We were in December, and we got a little frostbite, but it was okay. It's got great restaurants, great people. It's a very friendly city.
Give us like an idea, what you as the producer goes through on a daily basis. Like for instance, today, we're talking to you. You're in France. Are you working there? Are you on vacation?
No, we have a television show called CSI that I came to promote the show for the foreign buyers, so I'm here working.
Your phone must just ring, nonstop.
Well, you know what? I have a great staff, great group of people working with me, so they help me enormously when I'm out of town. And, a typical day is doing what I'm doing right now, doing interviews on a picture that's out right now. We're in the editing room on Pearl Harbor, so that's finished filming a week ago. So the director's in there cutting the movie, doing the visual effects for it. And we were also preparing a bunch of other films that will start either the end of this year, beginning of next year. So I'll be on script conferences, I'll be returning phone calls, I'll be trying to convince directors and actors to be in our films.
We're talking to Jerry Bruckheimer. What drew you to Remember the Titans? Such a departure.
And the emotion and the fact that these two coaches changed these kids' lives for the better. They're our real heroes. They changed the city from burning up because as this team came together, so did the city of Alexandria. When they watched these kids from different backgrounds and different races actually start winning together and liking each other when initially they didn't. They said, if these kids can do it and go on to be the number 2 team in the country, why can't our city get along?
The ESPN piece ran this Saturday. I don't know if you saw it, but an in-depth, I think it was an hour, behind the scenes and talking to the real guys in the movie. That was pretty cool. Did you get to see it? Yes, I did. Yeah, it was a wonderful piece, and I've had the good fortune to meet all the real players and spend some time with them, and it's so emotional when you talk to them and you see how it's changed their lives. How a lot of these kids, chances are, would have never gone to college or had a break. There's one great story about a defensive back who was a A-plus student, lived in the projects, very poor part of town, and the coach, he wasn't a great football player, but had enormous determination. He also had another cornerback who was a great football player, but not a great student. And when Duke came running to hire to bring the great football player in, he convinced him to hire the kid who was the straight A student also, and it made him a package. The music and everything is it's laid together so perfectly to evoke emotion. It's just very well done.
There's more to the story. This bit resumes after a brief intermission. More Best of the Morning X is coming up next on 99X.